So, you're thinking about going solar. Good choice. You are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to cut right through all the noise and give you the ultimate guide to home solar power in Australia. We'll break down absolutely everything you need to know so you can figure out if making the switch is the right move for you. All right, let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number. Get this, over 3.6 million Aussie homes are already running on solar power. I mean, that is a huge shift in how we're making and using energy, and it's all happening right on our own rooftops.
So that begs the question, right? What have these millions of homeowners figured out? What's the secret? Well, stick around because over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack exactly what they know, the real benefits, the actual costs, and all the steps they took to get there.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll look at why Australia is basically built for solar, the benefits you'll actually see, the tech that makes it all work, how to size and pay for a system, and then we'll walk through the entire installation journey. Let's get into it.
All right, part one. Why does Australia love solar so much? Well, the answer is pretty simple. We have this massive natural advantage just shining down on us every single day.
You know, it's a really simple but powerful fact. Australia is one of the sunniest places on the entire planet. That means our rooftops are literally some of the most productive real estate in the world when it comes to generating clean, free electricity. It's this incredible, sustainable resource just sitting right there above our heads.
Okay, so using that amazing resource leads to some serious benefits. And now, let's get to the part everyone really cares about, right? The payoff. Let's break down the actual numbers that are getting millions of people to make the switch.
First things first, the savings. A typical Aussie household with solar, they're saving anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500 every single year. That's real money back in your pocket.
And get this, you get that money back so fast. The average payback period for a solar system is just 3 to 5 years. To put that in perspective, that's one of the best, if not the best return on investment you can make on your home, period.
Oh, but it gets even better. If you decide to add a battery to your system, you can cut your reliance on the main power grid by up to 80%. I mean, that is a huge step towards energy independence and really protects you from those crazy rising electricity prices.
And it's not just about the money. The environmental impact is absolutely massive. A standard 6.6 kilowatt system, it offsets the same amount of carbon as planting over 150 trees. And that's not just once, that's every single year. It's a huge win-win for your bank account and for the planet.
Okay, so the benefits are crystal clear. But how does this stuff actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the key parts of what's essentially your own personal power station.
So your home's little power plant really comes down to 4 key parts that all work together. You've got the solar panels that grab the sunlight, the inverter that changes the power into something you can use, the optional battery to store it for later, and of course the mounting system that keeps it all safely on your roof. All right, let's start with the stars of the show, the solar panels. Their special photovoltaic cells, or PV cells for short, take sunlight and turn it straight into DC, or direct current electricity. Just think of it like the raw, pure energy from the sun. And these things are built to last. We're talking 25-year performance warranties. They'll be up there working for decades.
Next up is the brain of the whole operation, the inverter. This thing is absolutely crucial. It takes that raw DC power from the panels and switches it over to AC, or alternating current. Now that's the kind of electricity that actually powers your TV, your fridge, your everything. Without an inverter, all that beautiful solar energy is pretty much useless to your home.
Okay, so we know the parts. But how big of a system do you actually need? This is a huge question. And honestly, getting the size right is probably the most important decision you're going to make.
This chart here breaks it down really nicely. So if you've got a smaller home, you're probably looking at a 3 to 4 kilowatt system. Now, the average Aussie home, that usually falls right into the sweet spot, a 5 to 6.6 kilowatt system. And if you've got a larger home or just use a ton of power, you'll be looking at something in the 8 to 10 kilowatt range. And just so you know, those costs you see are after the government rebates kick in.
And speaking of costs and rebates, let's dive into the money side of things. It's really key to understand what you're paying for, and more importantly, how the government can help you pay for it.
So your final price tag isn't just about how big the system is. As you can see here, a few things really affect that final cost. The quality of the panels you pick is a big one. Also, how complicated is your roof? Is it tile or metal? Does it have multiple levels? And even the type of inverter you choose, all of that plays a part.
But here's the really great news. You almost never pay the full sticker price.
First, there's the federal government's STC program. That stands for Small Scale Technology Certificates, and it basically acts as an instant upfront discount that can shave thousands right off the top. Then, on top of that, a lot of states have their own special rebates or loans. And finally, there are feed-in tariffs. That's where your power company literally pays you for any extra energy your system sends back to the grid. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so you've picked your system, you've got the finances sorted out. What happens next? Let's walk through what the actual installation journey looks like, and you'll see it's probably way more straightforward than you think.
From the very beginning to the very end, the whole thing usually takes about 6 weeks. It starts with a consultation and designing the system for your roof. Then it moves into getting the right approvals. After that comes the actual installation, and believe it or not, that part usually takes less than a single day. And then finally, it's just getting you connected to the grid. Now listen up, because this might be the most important part of the whole journey, choosing the right installer. You absolutely want to look for good signs, like being accredited by the Clean Energy Council, that's the CEC, and of course having all the proper licenses and insurance. And please, be careful of the red flags, things like super high-pressure sales tactics or getting a quote that just seems way too good to be true. If it feels off, it probably is.
So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. Going solar isn't just about where you get your power from. No, it's one of the smartest financial decisions you can make for your home. It's this incredible combination of massive savings, energy independence, and doing something really positive for the environment.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. The sun is up there shining, and this technology is proven to work. Your roof is just sitting there, ready to become your own personal power station. So really, the only question left is your home ready for the future?